Can you hear that?
Yeah, you seem a little lower. Can you turn the volume up a touch? Hi, everyone.
Is that better?
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, we live. Hello, everyone.
So we're going to give everyone a couple of minutes to join. I don't know how the notifications went. Did you get a notification, Nigel?
Yes.
You did? Right, okay. Okay, so who have we got? I know we've got Hobby Time in. We've got Gary in. That's the third time I've been on a video with Gary today. We've got Jeff and James in. Nice to see you. Craig. Hi, Craig.
Hi, Craig.
World War II Dave. Peter, Scale Modelling. How are you, mate? Are you feeling better?
Who was that?
Pete, Scale Modelling.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he should be feeling better by now.
Oh, it's tomorrow he's having them removed, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Okay. We've got Justin. Hi, Justin.
Hello, Justin.
Phil. Paul, Plastic Monkey. Hi, Paul.
Hello, Paul.
And other James Cannon. And Jeff72. Colin from round the corner from me.
All right.
Colin's from Chorley.
Right.
So, and I'm Claytonley Woods, which is between Chorley and Leyland. So he's 10 minutes away in the car.
Up bloody north.
Yep.
Are you getting battered tonight by the weather?
It's really, really windy. And I was going to say you might hear it because it's chucking bits and pieces around outside.
Oh, shit. That scares me to death, wind.
Yeah. Hi, Annie. Hi, John.
Annie's in, is he? Is she?
Yeah. And Wendy. Hi, Wendy.
Hello, Wendy. You're going to love Wendy. Wendy's sending me a kit. Another one. She's pre-ordered me the Gannet.
Has she indeed?
Yes, she has.
So I believe that should be with us somewhere between mid and end of November.
Is it that long? Is it still going on and on and on?
They were hoping to have it for Telford, but what they said on the call today was they didn't think they were going to have it ready, and then it got a bit confusing as to whether they did or not. So we might see it at Telford, but I don't think we'll get it in our hands until after that.
Surely they'll have a test shot or something. They must have a built one.
You'd like to think they've got one built up ready for that little pedestal they put out, wouldn't you?
Thought so. I mean, I hope they've built one.
It would be a good idea before they sell them. Right, guys. What we're doing today is something we've not done before, which is Meet the Creator Live. Similar format. I'm going to ask the same or almost the same questions to Nigel, and he can talk us through his modelling career. I'm just bringing the questions up because I've already forgotten what I said. There we go. And then I'm going to open it up to you guys to ask Nigel some questions. And as long as you keep them sane and sensible and not all about when you're finishing this, that, and the other, we'll highlight some of them up and make sure your questions get answered. Don't know how long we're going to be on, and it'll be until it feels like we're ready to go or I'm falling asleep. Whatever happens.
Can I just say, I did meant to mention to you before we came on, I think the format should be if someone asks a question, you ask me.
Okay.
Otherwise, I'll be looking at the questions and you'll ask a question that I've already answered, and so you ask me and I just won't even look at the comments.
Right, in that case, what I'll do is I'll flag them up so they're on the screen and you can see the question as well. Yeah, good idea.
I don't think I see them on the screen on here, do I?
Well, let's just test. Let's flag one up.
If you flag one up.
So they're moving quite fast, though. Can you see that?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, cool. So Peter's going to interrogate you, apparently. I thought you were driving, Peter, you just said. Right then. What are we on? 4 minutes past 9. Everyone's had a chance to join. So, Meet the Creator. Welcome, Nigel. We've been talking about doing this for a little while, so it's great to get you on.
It's been months, hasn't it?
It has been, but there's been a lot going on, so that's fine. Yeah. First question that we've always asked on Meet the Creator is, what got you into model building in the first place?
My dad, God rest his soul. I was probably 5 at the time, and the one kit I remember, my dad used to do a little bit of modelling. I was born in England, and then when the TSR2 was cancelled, my father, he was a big aircraft enthusiast. My father said, "That's it, we're going to America." So he went to America and worked for Bell on helicopters, and then he got offered a job with Lockheed. So we moved down to Georgia, worked on the C5A and the Hercules, and so he was an aircraft enthusiast. And I remember him building, I think it was a 148 scale BF-110 in like a tan camouflage color, and he had a couple of models built, and I was never allowed to touch them, but he said, "You can build your own." And they used to, my parents used to force me to read the instructions. So when I actually went to school, I was one of the best at reading out of the whole class, out of the whole school, because of my age. Because if you remember, instructions used to be glue wing strut 72 to lower wing 73. These days it's all just arrows, they learn nothing from it. But we were learning what the kit was, and we were learning what the part was, and we were learning how to read.
That's right.
And that was what got me into modeling. And then I actually properly started when I was 6 years old.
Right. I reckon that's probably a similar story for many others, to be honest.
Yeah.
It certainly was for me. I was 5 or 6, 1975 new tool 172 Airfix Spitfire with my dad. I basically watched him build it.
The first kit I remember was a BOAC 707.
Right.
Airfix 144. Remember, you used to have the BOAC had the blue stripe down the fuselage, and then it fattened up towards the nose.
That's
right. You used to get the tool to push through the decal for the windows.
Cool.
And I can remember working out as a kid that if I want to put the windows in, I'm going to have to paint it and put the decals on first. I couldn't have painted it because I was 6. I couldn't have painted it. But I put the decals on first, poked the windows through so I could glue the windows in. I worked that out.
Right.
And I was in 6 or 7 at the time.
Brilliant. Okay, so do you have a preferred genre? So we know that you build all sorts, but is there something that behind the scenes you always prefer building?
I tend to wander around, as you all know. That's why I tend to flit around, because I sort of take interest in something and then move on to something else. And that's why I don't work on projects when I'm not into them, because I know I won't work on them. I won't do as good a job. Finishing that Sea King was a real struggle. But no, my preferred genre, I would say, is World War II aircraft.
Right.
But I do love ships. I just wish someone would make a kit of a ship that you can build in 3 hours, rather than 3 years.
Okay. I think Lego do a Titanic. That might take you about 3 hours.
It wouldn't look super. If it looked like Titanic, I get it. But I wouldn't get it, but it doesn't look anything like Titanic, does it?
No. It's a bit pixelated, shall we say?
Yes.
Okay, so what is it? This might be a longer answer, I think. What is it that you love about the hobby?
What do I love about the hobby? I'm a loner. I enjoy my own company. I'm not good in crowds. And I've always found that modelling is a pretty good way to shut off. I had a pretty rough childhood, without going into any detail. I wasn't abused or anything or beaten up. It was just lots of shit happened in my life. And I can remember just shutting myself away. And my mum used to love it, because she knew I could shut myself away at the kitchen table, like you do, and just sit there, and I was at peace with the world when all this other shit was going on. So, that's kind of what I love about the hobby at the most. I mean, I can come in here, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, whatever. And before I know it, it's 3 o'clock, and I'm like, shit,
Yeah.
And I must be honest, today I had a thought that I would really not like about the hobby is if I was really busy, because I had to I had to take Jess to the groomers, go shopping, and then come back and then go and pick her up from the groomers. which broke into my modelling time. It was like, how dare you? You know, it's really yeah. I like the fact you could just shut off, and I think a lot of people would say the same.
Yeah, yeah.
And a lot of people also say it's very it's good for their state of mind or whatever. But I find sometimes it drives me around an absolute bend.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people say it's a way to de-stress, but sometimes it's really frustrating. Yeah. Yeah. And again, I think a lot of people could empathize with that, you know, about being in your own space and that sort of stuff. I certainly can. And actually, YouTube gives me an outlet to talk to people without having to be in a crowded room. I've never been to a modeling club, for example, you know. So, yeah.
I really enjoy it.
Yeah. Cool. Right. Last question from me, and then we're going to have a look and see what questions we've got in the chat. So guys, please start putting your questions in the chat. James had a really good idea. Please put question at the start so I can see them. I'll go back to the start and have a look through them after this. But if someone designed you a dream model kit, Nigel, what would it be that they're designing for you?
That would change with the weather. Right here, right now, if somebody announced a 12th scale or even a 24 scale GR Yaris rally car, I'd be made. Yeah, I'm not a proper with engine and interior detail. I'm not just a Hasegawa type thing. I would be made up. I can't believe nobody's done one. I mean, the car is so popular in Japan. I can't believe Tamiya haven't done one. They've done the 10th scale RC. They've done that little 20th scale toy thing, which I built. Why haven't they done a 24th scale? Right? They've done the Gazoo Racing bloody GT86, which was as popular as a fart in a tin can. You know, they haven't done the GR Yaris. I can't believe it.
Is that the one you've got in real life?
I've got a Yaris, but I don't have the rally one. The rally one is a hybrid 500 horsepower, £500,000 thing. Even if they just did the standard road car, I'd be happy.
Right.
I don't know why they haven't done it. They're bringing out a 10th scale RC one. That's just a shitty RC body.
Yeah.
On a chassis, which is another weird thing going off topic. Why did Tamiya bring out a Mark II Rally Escort and put a four-wheel drive chassis in it, and they bring out a GR Yaris and make it front-wheel drive? Work that way. But overall, I think if I heard that somebody was making an accurate 1/32 scale Wellington,
right,
it would be made up. I absolutely love the Wellington.
Right. Okay.
It's accurate because all the kits just look wrong to me.
Right. Okay.
But I am. This isn't any hint. Don't read anything into this, anyone. Please don't read anything into this. But I am talking a lot now with Neil of Hong Kong Models.
Right.
And we're talking about something that's going on now with another kit. And I've got a feeling he's going to start asking questions because I think he knows that I make a big fuss about his kits after they're released. I think he probably would like some input before he releases it.
It's a good way of doing it, but I'm with you on the Wellington. I actually prefer the Wellington to the Lancaster, and I love the Lancaster. But yeah, interesting.
Lancaster, finest bomber in the world. I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
B17, B24, love them all, but Lancaster's,
yeah. But from a modelling point of view, you've got all that interesting crosshatch cage in the Wellington and stuff.
And you can see in.
Yeah.
One.
Yeah.
Mark III's got filled in sides, hasn't it?
Yeah. There's some panels at the front, isn't there, that they filled in or something.
Right. I can't remember now.
Yeah. I know if you get the Airfix 172 one, they've got all those options in the kit, so they'll be releasing all the different marks from that one tooling.
Right, brilliant.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you, Nigel. Right, first question then from Kitchen Table Modeler. So, Of the new manufacturers, excluding the established companies like Tamiya, which one is your favourite? Interesting question.
Very good question. I've got to say Border Model. I mean, their range of kits is so diverse, it's untrue. The fit of their kits is just impeccable. Their plastic is amazing. Their instructions are awful. And their communication skills are crap. But no, I've got to say Border Model. A lot of people not Border Model because of the Lancaster. They have to remember the Lancaster is not a Border Models product. It's an unfinished wingnut wings, and unfortunately it wasn't quite finished. That's why it was never released with wingnut wings. It had to be perfect, and it wasn't perfect. But yeah, I think Border Model. I just wish they would talk to me more. I've done all this work with them about instruction, and I just completely ignore me. You know, so.
But I remember you doing the Stuka, and you claimed that was perhaps the best model you'd ever built at that time.
It's the best model kit I've ever put together as a model kit. Yeah, I mean, the Wingnut Wings Lancaster is a better subjects, everything.
Yeah.
But as a model kit to build, that Stuka is by far the best I've ever built. Yeah.
Fascinating.
But this A20 from Hong Kong Models, it's nice.
Right.
Very nice.
Okay. Interesting. Right. Let's see. What else have we got? So I'll be amazed if you can answer that. Do you remember how many models you have built up to now?
Probably about 100. I mean, God.
Must be more than that if you started at 5.
I started at 6. Yeah, but I used to do one a week. I used to spend all my money on models. And I've done 7 this year. I've started 9 or 10 and finished 7 this year. So that's not bad. Yeah, it's probably only about 200, if that.
Right. Okay. Interesting.
No, it's probably about 300 or 400 actually. There's probably 100 downstairs. So yeah, people keep asking me if I do a show of my models. I'm not taking a camera around the bloody house. You know what I mean? I've got to have some privacy in life.
Indeed. Right. Question from Paul. How is Jess?
She's awesome, thanks, mate. We had to go. I don't know if you saw the video when I was talking. She had to go to the vets for an unrelated issue a week ago Thursday, and I saw the same vet that diagnosed her and did the operation and everything, and he said he can't find any trace of anything coming back. So she's in remission, it seems. I don't know what's going on. It's really strange, but she's still like a 2-year-old. She's been to the groomers today. She's here now. She's chewing on a bottle. You could probably hear her in the background. But yeah, she's mint. Thank you, mate. She's absolutely awesome. But she's gonna go, which is what I've always said. But she's now 7 months in a week into a 6-month diagnosis. So they gave her 6 months. So she's already, what's that, 15% over?
Brilliant news. Okay. Right. Next question. Has there been a period in your life longer than a year that you didn't build?
No. Simple answer.
Okay. Whereas
there was
many of us have a break for family at some point, don't we?
There was a point where I did hardly anything. Like I bought an old house in the Forest of Dean with a girlfriend. That went completely wrong. And I was doing up the house and everything, doing a lot of building work, and just everything was constantly covered in dust. You get a mug out the cupboard and had dust in it, you know. People used to say put the mugs upside down, but then you scratch your table because the dust is on the bottom. So I probably went about 6 or 7 months without doing anything, but I soon set up a little room.
Yeah.
But my girlfriend didn't like me doing it, so I wasn't allowed, sort of thing.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, it was a waste of time. I could be spending my time more valuably on working on the house and working in Bristol from the Forest of Dean. And doing overtime to pay for the work to do on the house and that. And we didn't go very far with that one.
Fair enough. Right then, next question is from Gary. This is interesting. What field of engineering is your background in?
I'm a Rolls-Royce time-served mechanical engineer technician sort of thing. So I started Rolls-Royce as a technician. I had a problem with one of the exams. I was given the option of the second year, retaking that exam and doing the second year, whatever the result, or drop out and become a craft apprentice, which was a mechanical hands-on guy. And they said, we feel you'd be better suited to that anyway. So I did that. And I became a sort of machinist at Rolls-Royce, making the thousands of parts for airplane engines. And then sort of in there, moved up, got into development and all that and everything, working with designers and stuff. It was absolutely wonderful because, you know, these days, I mean, I don't know what line you're in, Jason, but I know that wherever you go these days, it's always cost. Everything's cost. You know, if they could build cars with 3 wheels, they would. I know they did, but they you know, if they could, they would. And what I used to love about Rolls-Royce, you go and speak to designers and say, I want to change the way we make this. And they always used to ask you one question: will it be any heavier? You'd say no, and carry on. That was their first question. It wasn't would it cost more, it was will it be any heavier? That was all they cared about.
Right. Okay. Well, so, I'm one of those people that worries about costs because my background is procurement in engineering. So defense engineering and commercial aircraft is my engineering procurement background. I don't work in engineering now, but claim to fame, I bought all the fasteners on the Royal Flight, the one, especially the one that Prince Charles crashed and we had to rebuild. You know, and I used to work for Ferry Engineering, you know, the ferry swordfish fame, in Stockport, and they now make military bridges. So I worked on military bridges. So the American Department of Defense bought our military bridge. It's like a transformer, all folds out of the back of an Oshkosh. So it's a beautiful thing. And so really interesting projects. But yeah, I was one of those that was working on cost and cost management, but I don't do that now. But if you've ever been into McDonald's and used one of those touch screen things to order a burger, well, I did all the procurement behind the design of that. They're all designed and manufactured in Bromber, near Liverpool.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So
there you go. You talk about cost. So that was one of the things when I was at Delphi, because I was facing redundancy at Rolls-Royce, so I left and went to Delphi doing diesel injection systems for trucks. And they moved their procurement from Stonehouse, where we were based, to Poland.
Yeah.
I think it was Poland or Croatia. I can't remember. It was Poland. I think it was Poland. So if I wanted to have a fixture made, instead of going to a bloke in an office down the hall and saying, I want to get this fixture made, who do you reckon? And he'd be like, oh, it's mainly turned parts from castings. I'd give it to these people here because they've got a good company that does their castings for it. They'll machine it and they'll have it all made for us.
Sure.
I had to go to Poland. So Poland would like take 6 weeks to come back to me and say, do you have any ideas of good suppliers? Well, no, you're the procurement people. I'm an engineer. I don't get to use any suppliers because you do all that now. I don't know who's good at what, you know. Oh, we will find someone. And all they did was just sent it out to the people with the cheapest quote. So you used to get a load of crap delivered from wherever it was in the world. Yeah. And you had to make it good.
Yeah.
Rolls-Royce started doing the same just before I left. They sent all the work out. A lot of it went up to, I shan't mention their name because it's probably not fair. And they subcontracted the work that we used to do so they could close our factory. And then when the work came in, it was always faulty. It was too big, too small, not round, not flat, and we had to put it right. So we used to say, what are you going to do when we're all gone?
Yeah. Yeah. Engineering, even in my short time working in engineering, it changed a lot. But, yeah. Anyway, we digress a little bit. Let's get to another question. What other hobbies, passions do you have apart from modelling and Mustangs? I think they mean the car, not the plane.
And yes, of course, yeah. It's cars overall, really. I mean, I've got the Land Rover, as you know, which I love to bits. I've got a Vivaro van, which I love to bits. My Volkswagen Passat I love to bits because it costs £4 a week to own. It's amazing that road tax, insurance, and MOT, £4 a week it works out. That's how much that costs to have on the road. Amazing, isn't it? I got my little GR Yaris, which I love. I got my Mustang, which I love, and I just cars and anything with 4 wheels and an engine, really, and 2 wheels as well. But I don't really have any other passions at all. I've got no passions for food. I could burn toast. It's not, no, nothing.
Okay, interesting.
I do actually have a big passion for hair care products. I love them.
And you do, of course, have another channel that's focused on your Land Rover, don't you?
And the Mustang L3.
And the Mustang
as well.
Okay. Right. Next question then, Mark Evans. What World War II aircraft would you like to model that you haven't done yet? And is it in your stash?
Isn't in your stash? Yeah. A 32nd scale Anson, 32nd scale Wellington. 32nd scale is my favourite scale. I'd like somebody to bring out a 32nd scale B29. That'd be nice.
Wow. Okay. And I'm guessing you've got none of those in your stash right now.
They don't exist.
Exactly.
Well, they do in VAC form. Is there a VAC form Anson in 32nd scale?
I don't know.
I know there's a VAC form B29. There's probably a VAC form Wellington.
It's been a long time since I was, to be honest.
I've never done one.
Right. I've started one. I've never done one.
Started it not finished? I couldn't.
Absolutely. Shocking.
I couldn't do
that. Right. Peter, when is your Australian tour?
I'm not doing one.
Okay.
I go to Australia, I won't come home because I just love Holdens and Holden Commodores.
Fair enough. Right. James has a question. How do you video the unboxing of a 1/15th scale Dora railgun?
Do you remember my 1/35th unboxing of the Dora railgun? I had to do it in the hallway on the landing.
Right. I'm not sure I saw that.
Yeah, it's not an unboxing. It's like a bloody intrusion into your life. It's just, there's huge boxes inside a big, huge box. I had to do it on the landing. Let's go back and have a look. It's so funny.
Right. Well, there you go, everyone. That's one to go and catch.
I'd have to do it in the garage, I think, James.
I remember when I did the 124, I can't remember which aircraft it was. Oh, the car door one. Yeah. I had to lay everything out on the living room floor, and it took up almost the entirety of my living room floor, and bring one sprue in at a time because it's just so much in the box.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Another question here. If Border Models gave you a choice of the next 135 Warbird, what would it be? And he would choose the F4U Corsair.
It would be nice because the diorama opportunities would be absolutely amazing with that. 135th. Do you know what? I would love to see a 135th Lancaster because they know they have all the detail now. They've got all wing nut wings work.
Yeah.
And if they built it and tooled it, it would be a far better kit than the 32nd scale one. And you think of the diorama you can have with that.
Yeah.
With your Tilly and your Matadors and all that. I mean, I wish that's another kit. I wish somebody would do a 132nd scale Matador to go with the Lancaster, the fuel tanker.
So following on from that then, Nigel, do you think that 135 scale aircraft is a sort of an undiscovered scale that needs exploiting more, but just because of its potential in dioramas and the like?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, the 35th scale Lancaster with a diorama, most people, 99.9% of models wouldn't have the room or the inclination to do it. But I do see, for so many years, people have wanted to do dioramas with aircraft in. And if you are a rivet counter like I am, the difference is astronomical. Do you remember I did that Huey review?
Yeah.
I did a 32nd scale and 35th scale, and people could not believe. I mean, the difference is like that on a model which is that big. That big. It was, it's a lot. It's a big difference.
Yeah, it is.
And you put a 35th scale Jeep next to a P-51, it looks tiny.
Yeah, indeed. But so many options if you've got it in 135.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the border model 135th Spitfire, there's a lot of talk. They said they're going to send me one, but they say they're going to send me bloody everything and never do. The 135th Spitfire, there's talk that they've copied the Hobby Boss kit. And if they have, it's going to be a mess. Because the Hobby Boss kit is awful.
Right. So why would you copy it rather than research it? As in they've probably got the information from Hobby Boss in some way.
Well, it's the same. The Stuka apparently is very, very similar to the Hasegawa kit.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, if they've copied the Hobby Boss, the sides of the fuselage are going to be too flat. The canopy is going to be too wide. I think the back of the fuselage is too fat. There's something wrong with the shape of the wings as well, I think, for rivet counters. To me, the obvious one is the sides of the fuselage. Like, instead of it coming round like a Spitfire comes round, doesn't it? And then it sort of goes like that, doesn't it? And it comes round, it goes out into the wings. It's all radii, all blending into each other. Well, the Hobby Boss is more like...
Okay.
It's more like a Hurricane. And the canopy's so fat. It's terrible.
Okay. We'll be interested to see then.
Sorry?
Right. How many unfinished models do you have?
50.
Okay.
I would guess 50.
I have 102 unfinished models on my spreadsheet. So, yeah.
I've probably got 100 as well then, because we always underestimate, don't we?
Yeah.
How many did you have last night? Only 4.
Yeah, never put that on a spreadsheet, that's for sure. Right, okay, we have another question here from Neil. What's your opinion of Edward and other Czech kit manufacturers, and also of Ukrainian manufacturers? Okay, now I've got an interesting comment on this. A question for the chat. Who knows how many model-related manufacturers there are in the Ukraine? I'll be interested to see your guesses. I know the answer, but while Nigel answers this question, I'll let you all think about that. Right, Nigel, off you go.
Can I have a guess at yours before you announce it as well, please?
Yeah, of course you can.
I've got a number in my head. My opinion of Edward and other kit manufacturers, I think they're amazing. As you know, I'm sort of deeply entwined with art scale kit. Like Peter, he's absolutely bloody brilliant. I don't know where he finds all his time. Edward, they're a lot better now than they used to be. I hear a lot of people complaining about the decals, but I haven't used them, so I don't honestly see what's wrong with them. I saw a video recently where somebody were giving Edward a really hard time, and I thought it was particularly unfair. I think their own kits, their own moldings are absolutely brilliant. Some of you on here will know I was going to do a buddy build with all of you, with a lot of people, with the Edward 148 Typhoon, which was a Hasegawa kit, and the photo etch didn't fit. And it was like, I got onto Edward, and all the people that were building it got onto Edward, and they really hated on me for a while. And they said, well, when we test built the kit, it all fitted. It's like, no, you can't have done, because the seat doesn't even fit. The seat was like a bloody 32nd scale in a 48 scale kit. I think it was a photo etch seat. It wouldn't even go in the hole. It was a terrible thing. But then they brought out their own Tempest, didn't they? Their own moldings, and they look. I haven't built one, but they look superb. My experience with them recently, when I told them about the A20 wheels being too big, they've been polite, professional, and they've corrected it. And apparently, my wheels are in the post now, and they're going to send everybody wheels with the replacements. I think they've been listening with regard to their photo etch, because if you remember years ago, you used to buy a photo etch set and it was it. You bought a photo etch set. And now you get like seat belts, front interior, mid interior, rear interior, pilot's seat, gunner's seat. You know, it's just all these different sets. It all just mounts up and it costs a fortune. But like this one here for the A20, this is 321012. It's got cockpit, engine, guns. What else? Front nose gear, the bay. It's got all of that in that one set.
Yeah.
So it's like they're kind of listening, because I've been moaning about it forever that, you know, they used to do all this and now it's, you end up buying 15 sets to just do one 32nd scale fighter. You know, it's crazy. Ukrainian manufacturers, Miniart are one of my favorite. When I was asked the question earlier about my favorite manufacturer for getting Tammy and everything, I was going to say Miniart, but of course, Miniart aren't a new manufacturer. But if you look at their kits of 10 years ago and their kits now, it's like comparing old Revell with modern Tamiya, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
But, Ukrainian manufacturers, I've yet to meet one I don't like. I wish ICM would put more detail in their kits, but then they'd be more expensive, I guess. But then saying that Sky Crane, I think that's, for what it is, I think it's very overpriced. It's lacking a lot of detail, lots of detail.
It tends to be interior detail with ICM. Where they cut that corner. So I did a fire truck recently, earlier this year, and you've got all those doors on the outside that have equipment in, and they're all just molded in shut, nothing behind them. And there was so much opportunity they could have had, but the actual kit when it's built, stunning. So I'm not going to scroll down because I will miss some of the questions, but what were the guesses on Nigel? You wanted to have a guess at how many Ukrainian modeling companies, so that's people that either make kits or decals or all that sort of stuff.
48.
Okay, interesting. I'm just going to have a quick flash down because I've got one highlighted. Did anyone get 31? Because that's how many there is. 31 manufacturers in the Ukraine. So if you compare that to the UK and other countries, that's a huge number. So what quite is going on in the Ukraine? I don't know, but yeah. Go on.
I work in engineering companies. When I was at Delphi, I was a manager. I used to manage 61 people, and 15 of them were English. The rest were all Eastern European. And you would not believe how many are into modeling.
Right.
The Polish love it.
Right.
They won't admit it because they think it's childish, but you'll see them in model shops, and when they find out you're into it, they won't leave you alone.
It was interesting. The chap who does flying circus models, he's Ukrainian, lives in Canada, and he said as a kid, model building was a big thing, but they only had these old Soviet kits, and they were dreadful. So when they had the freedom in the 90s to go and buy, it was a massive boom to get all these more modern kits. So maybe that's what stimulated it. Don't know. But yeah, interesting. 31 manufacturers listed currently. Right. Annie has a question for you. Most of my family and relatives have worked in Rolls-Royce in Cheshire Crew. Oh, there you go.
That's not a question.
No, it said question at the start.
A statement.
Right. We've got a question there about would you consider building a modern fighter jet? And if so, which one would you do?
I want to do that F-35A, but now the B's coming out, I think I'll probably do that, because not a lot of people know this. When it was called the Joint Strike Fighter, I worked on the bearing races for the swivel on the back, the swiveling nozzle, huge, great bearing races. And I didn't even know what it was at the time. They didn't tell me what it was. They just told me it was these huge bearing races for some project. And then I actually saw the back end of an engine set up on a jig. And because at Rolls-Royce, it was good like that, because you all signed the Secrecy Act and everything. So you knew that you had to keep still about stuff. So yeah, I love that thing, and I'd like to build that 48 scale one that Tammy are doing. It's going to be lovely. So I probably will build that because I've got the MRP paint for it. Oh no, they're not in half glass anymore, are they?
Don't know.
I think they've changed colours, haven't they, from what they used to be?
Right.
Because the MRP, they do a grey, and then it's got this sort of tinted varnish that goes over it, and it gives it like a goldy hue.
Right, yeah.
Good colour. Somebody on here. Su-27 says Mark Oldreeve. Yeah, I love the Su-27.
Right then. So carrying on from that question, if we start this Shan Horse as a buddy builder, you're going to finish that with me?
Yes.
Good man.
I have to, because that's why I want to do it with you, because I want to build a bloody ship and finish it.
Yeah.
And hopefully you'll keep me going, and hopefully I'll keep you going.
Absolutely.
And if we do have a break, what we'll do, if we both get dragged under, we'll say, right, okay, it's the 17th of April. We pick it up again on the 1st of June. Yeah. Whatever,
Sure.
And then we'll agree to that sort of thing. We'll have a few streams about it, and people can ask questions and all that. I don't quite know how we're going to work the buddy build bit, how it's going to physically work between us, but I'm sure we'll get there in the end.
We'll work something out. It'll be fun. So for those of you that don't know, before I go back to the questions, we announced this Thursday last week when we were covering Peter's live stream that we are going to do a buddy build, which will start in December. There's an anniversary coming up, and we'll be building the 1/200 trumpeter Shan Horse with all the aftermarket you can currently buy for it, which will be a lot of fun.
Market as well.
Plus, Nigel's adding to that because he's doing full hull mods. I'm doing some hull mods, but not all of them. And inevitably, we'll approach it differently. We're using different paint systems. We're doing different paint schemes. I don't know whether you're weathering or not, but I intend to fully weather and fully rig. So it'll be interesting.
Are you going to move portholes and stuff?
I'll be moving the scuttles. Yeah, certainly.
You are going to move the scuttles. Just a little note on the Shan Horse. Do you remember I said that it's going to be a direct copy to drag that over to Bismar because they look the same?
Talking about the anchors?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The anchor is the same. The recess is not. I can't find the picture again. It's really annoying. I had a picture. It said Tirpitz in dry dock. Right. There's a picture of that without the anchor in it.
Right.
And I could see that it was the same shape. It wasn't. Bismarck and Tirpitz have a different recess in them. It's a different shape. Wow. I wish I could find the picture again because it's a bloody picture of Shan Horse without the anchor in it. But
you'd assume that was a common casting, wouldn't you? But there you go.
I think it may be a casting on Shan Horse. I think on Bismarck it's beaten out of steel because it looks all uneven.
Right.
So I've nearly finished Bismarck.
Cool.
Shan Horse is done, and a few people have got it, but Bismarck's nearly finished. So
brilliant. Okay, right. Moving on with the questions. Will you finish some of your unbuilt and unfinished kits one day?
Yeah, I will, Brian. Yes, I will one day. There we go.
Yeah.
Unless I die beforehand, can't finish them then.
Right, now here's an interesting question, actually. How do you deal with modeling burnout? Any tips and advice? Well, I can certainly, but you go first, Nigel.
I'd rather you went first because I've got it right now, to be honest.
Okay. Well, first tip is start a modeling channel on YouTube because that's really helped me. I used to be terrible for not finishing kits because, like everyone, you get a kit, you start building it, you're really enthusiastic about it, and then you get to all those flipping tracks that are individual and made up of 6 parts each, and you get really fed up of it, and then the next kit that you've just ordered turns up and you get enthused about that, so you start that and you never finish the other one. I used to be a terror for it. Having a YouTube channel, I feel a bit obliged to finish the build for the people watching it. Haven't finished all of them, but it sort of encourages me. And what I tend to do, and this is perhaps my best tip, but being a bit flippant about a YouTube channel, obviously, is I do one model 1 week and then flip onto the next model the next week. So it gives me a break from where I am. So on my Gota, for example, when I was doing all the rigging of the wings with fishing line and little metal eyes and stuff like that, the following week I would be on Queen Mary 2 or the Ferret or something, doing something completely different. And having that break each week helps me get back to it, because the following week I'm changing, doing something completely different. So if I'm doing loads of photo etch on one, I'm probably doing painting and sanding on another. So it just gives me a break. So that's how I do it. Nige, your thoughts?
I've had Burnout, and I've been picking up the Chieftain and the Scamel, and I've literally like done 10 minutes filming and then put them back in the box. I just cannot. I have no enthusiasm for it whatsoever. It's really weird. I mean, that Chieftain is bloody gorgeous, all that work I put into the paint. But I'm getting there slowly. But rather than sort of sitting down and making an hour-long video one day, I'm making an hour-long video over 3 weeks, you know. So what I've done, I've picked up the A20 because I've been promised I'm going to do it. I promised HK Models I'd do it. So I've picked up the A20, and what I'm doing with that is I've made part 1. I'm probably going to put part 1 up when we go off air tonight. And what I'm doing, because I've got so much aftermarket, I've done the first part. I'm building the cockpit out of the box. So using all the color callouts from the instructions, using the kit included seat belts, and using the kit included decal on the instrument panel. So that's that done. So in that video, I've shown annealing photo etch, making seat belts, and all the different decal applications, and using the different solutions to get the decal to go down, making the glazing shine on the dials. It's a bit beginnery-ish, but it's great for people who want to know. And then at the end of it, I show you how to strip it all. And I've taken it all apart, and it's all depainted, and it all ends up as brand new grey plastic again. I mean, there it is. There it is there. That has already been built, believe it or not, and now it's been glued back together again. So, and now I'm doing it with the Edwards set, and then all that's going to come off, and then I'm going to build it with the Airscale set, and it'll be finished with the Airscale set. So that's what I'm doing. I'm quite enthusiastic about it. And today I was sat like, oh, I got to take Jess to the groomers, you know. To keep going, you know. I also think doing these live streams helps greatly, because you get a lot of love in the comments. You get a lot of people asking questions like that tonight, and I absolutely love it. I could sit here all night doing this. But a lot of people say go and do some Lego or something. I don't think that's the answer. Do a simple kit, yeah. But I've realized the problem I don't have a problem finishing kits. I don't like finishing kits. I really struggle to finish that Sea King. I'm started putting decals on. I'm swearing at it. It's like I wanted to throw it out the window.
And is that because you don't want the joy of building the model to end, or your mind's on the next thing?
I've built race cars. I've modified cars. I love engineering. I love working with my hands. I love looking at something and thinking, how am I going to sort it out? That's why I keep changing build sequences, because I have to change it. I just can't leave it alone, you know. And I think when it comes to the end, and it's just like painting and putting decals on, I'm just doing the same as everyone else, and I don't want to do it. You know?
Got you.
I mean, the exciting thing with this A20 is just lovely kit. The exciting thing with that is, as I'm working towards the end, it's going to be using the one-man army masks.
Yeah.
And you know, that's really enjoyable. That is so satisfying when you pull those masks off and you've got all those stencils and that, and they're perfect. It's just beautiful. But yeah, I mean, I think the best thing to do if you have got burnout is don't force yourself. Don't if you've got a bloody 350th scale Bismarck that you're just about to put the railings on, but you want to pick up that 148 Sea King you've just bought, pick the Sea King up, because all you'll do is mess the railings up on the Bismarck.
Yeah.
And forever be kicking yourself. Go back to Bismarck, go and watch a bloody James Cameron video or something, go and see Bismarck, and it'll get you all going again, and then work on Bismarck. Don't work on Bismarck if you've got Sea Kings in your head. That's my advice.
Yeah, when I'm building the Shan Horse, I'll have Battle of the River Plate on, then sink the Bismarck, and we'll be in that groove all the time. Absolutely.
Yeah. I watched a Bismar video the other day, and I almost ordered bloody Rodney in 200 scale. Because
which is a nice kit.
I can't just buy the kit. I have to go and buy the bloody aftermarket as well. It's 500 quid gone. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And then it sits on the shelf with all the others.
Right. Okay. Questions. Right. Interesting. Hi, Moz. Nice to see you in here.
Hello, Moz.
It doesn't. If a model takes more than 2 weeks, I get bored. Lol. Fair enough. Right. There's an interesting question. Because, what equipment did you use to start your channel?
Have you seen my first video, Colin? I think the first video I ever made was like a part-built review of a main tank transporter. And I literally had an iPhone. In fact, this is my old iPhone 6. I had this in my hand, and I was looking at the bench, and I was talking and pointing while I was holding the camera, moving around and everything. It was absolutely dire. But even then, when I was making that crap, people like James Mower came on board and tuned in. Thank you, James. And then I got like this sort of thing, like a tripod that you could put the camera in, and like have it hanging down so you can have the camera pointing down at the bench. It's got legs to see. You get these sort of thing on Amazon. They're bloody brilliant. You just have that sort of sat on the desk like that, as you can see, and your camera goes in there, or your phone goes in there and looks down. But then you find you keep knocking it and you move the bench and it all moves around. I used to have the compressor on the bench and didn't realize when I was making spraying videos, it would go as the compressor came on. And then I got it mounted on the wall, and you can see here is my camera hanging off a light stand that's glued to the wall. So now nothing interferes with it. So but if you do that, one bit of advice I'll give you, if they've got external springs, put rubber bands on the springs. Because what you'll find is as you talk, certain frequencies pick up in the springs. So you go like, spring, when you're talking. Sounds terrible.
Yeah.
So what did you start with?
I started exactly like you. If you go and look at my first video, which was on how to organize big build instructions, it's exactly the same. It's done on my iPhone. It's shaky. It's really dreadful. I'm using the mic on the phone, and but from those first awkward ones, every video you learn something. And I think the most important thing you've got to learn is the ability to edit a video, because then you can start stitching things together. So for me, certainly, learning how to edit a video, and I use free editing software. I don't use anything, there's no great cost to setting it up. The cost actually is the impact on your hobby, because if you've got 5 hours a week hobby time, and then you're going to start a YouTube channel, you're going to use 3 of those hours on the channel on editing videos, uploading videos, and all that sort of stuff. So that's the biggest thing. But from equipment, lots of people do it on the phone. I now use an iPad. I mean, you can see that's hung above my desk, a bit like Nigels. So I use an iPad, and because I use Apple software for editing my videos.
I mean, I've got this Sony. If I move the camera around a bit, you can see it there. Here hanging up. That's a Sony ZV-1. I wouldn't recommend that camera to anyone. It's good, but there's better around. I think I was missold it, to be honest. But basically, I mean, I bought an external mic once, and it was the worst sound I ever had.
Right.
So I threw that away, and I used the mic in the camera. I've never had any complaints about volume. The only complaints I ever get about volume now is when you see me sitting and talking to you like this, I'm using my iPhone XR in this stand, and I forget to edit the volume. Of course, the phone is a lot quieter than that. So of course I set the volume to the camera, so it's in like the 3 to 6, which is where it should be. And then of course you can't hear me when I'm on that because it's much quieter. So what I need to do is do that sort of thing and bring one up with the other. Why am I all one-sided? It's better, right? Yeah, I need to do that with the volumes. So
and the only reason I got an external mic is because I used to have problems with the microphone cutting out on the iPad sometimes, and you've got no way of knowing. So that's the only reason I went. But you develop all that as you go along. If you look at my videos now and compare them to nearly 3 years ago, it's 3 years next month we started this, and like you said, Nigel, someone comes along and then they tell other people, have you seen this chap's video? And before you know it, you've got 3 subscribers. And someone called Nigel goes, have you seen this channel? He's got 30 subscribers. You want to go and check him out? And suddenly you've got 45, and so it goes on. I
remember you did a video and you thanked 3 people. Ron, was it Ron, Oscar, Modlin, and myself? I know it was Ron and myself. I can't remember the third one was.
Yeah, for being the inspiration behind starting. Yeah.
I sent someone to your channel. You like,
yeah.
And that's what I will say about you, Jason. It's always been nice. You've always appreciated that. It's obvious that you appreciate it. Certain other people have done the same. They've gone from 200 to 1,200 in a week.
Yeah.
And nothing, so.
Well, I mean, what a lot of people don't know is in the background, you sent me some emails, you gave me some advice, you told me what to look out for. And all of that was good advice. And, why wouldn't you listen to someone who's got that experience? So, I always appreciated it. And I am where I am partly because of that advice. So, yeah.
Oh, good. Thank you. A lot of people watching this, you don't know the kind of shit you get. That's why you'll notice when you comment on my videos, they don't show straight away, because I've got everything held for review, because I don't want you to see the shit that sometimes gets sent over. Plus, I don't want you guys to go attack someone who's attacking me, because then you're getting involved and all that. But some of the stuff you get, I mean, oh, Jesus Christ. It's unbelievable. It's both stupid and rude, so I just delete them. And you get emails as well.
Oh yeah. I had a lovely email. It must have taken him hours to write it. It was pages and pages and pages long. But the first line was he was getting fed up with me saying in my videos. So I never read all those pages he wrote. I just deleted the email. Anyway, we have another question. How do you overcome cold feet on building a model? It's a good question, that. You don't want to mess it up. You haven't got enough confidence, and you don't want to ruin it. So loads of people with a stash of Wingnut Wings kit without the confidence to build it, for example. How do you overcome that?
Do you know what, Han? I can't believe you've asked that question. I've got the perfect answer, and I've got it sat right here. If you've got a kit in your stash that you really, really want to build, that you consider is your holy grail of models that are currently available. I have one kit, not one manufacturer. One model is my holy grail of all kits ever made, even more than the Lancaster, anything. One kit. And if you're really, really scared of building, I'm not scared of building it. I know I won't mess it up. I know it'll be okay. I'm scared of not finishing it. But what scares me is the value. And I would hate to build it and not finish it because it's worth so much money. So what you do is you go and buy another one. That's the go to G4 from Wingnut Wings. And I'm going to try and build this because I've got 2 of them now. And I've seen them go for 850 quid on eBay. I got that one for just under 400. I've been bidding on them for the last few months. I keep getting outbid. But I was really lucky on that one. I got it for about £3 less than my maximum bid. So someone was going beep, 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 beep. They should have just gone tens. If they'd have gone tens, they'd have been right. But they were going like 3, 4, 3, 4. And it went from 360 to £390 in the last sort of 25 seconds. So that's my advice. If you're really worried, go and get another one, or just think of it as a bloody piece of plastic. It doesn't matter if you mess it up. And really, if you mess it up, just rework it. If you mess up a seam, rework it. If you get a finger mark on a clear part, cut the clear part out and have it as an open window. Have it as a broken window. Windows get broken on military vehicles all the time. If it's a paint job, strip it, stick it in some IPA. If it's a decal, get a mask set and take the decals off. You can always fix it. You've seen me cock up models on here all the time. Yeah. It can always be fixed.
I completely agree with you. I've got two Labour of Love models in my stash, both of which I've intended to start, but the reason I haven't is because somebody else has started building them and I don't want to build it at the same time. So one is the 1200 Bismarck and the other is the 1200 Hood, which if you've seen some of the stuff I've done on my channel, is related to my family history. So, those are ships I grew up knowing about. So, but one day we will build them when everyone else has got through them.
Who's building Hood then?
Well, at the time when I started the channel, I intended to start the channel with the Hood, but Steve was doing it, and then Steve did so I thought, well, I might do the Bismarck, and then he did the Bismarck, which is why I jumped on the Shan Horse, which actually I think is a prettier ship than Bismarck because it's less cluttered, has the same sort of feel but less cluttered.
I put the Bismarck hull underneath the Shan Horse. I have them both on the bench. It's amazing. They're nearly the same length, but the Shan Horse is like that much narrower.
Yeah.
I absolutely love Bismarck.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love Iowa. And I'm totally besotted with Enterprise.
Yeah.
But it's like Han said, I'm scared to start because I won't bloody finish them. And that's why when you mentioned Shan Horse, I thought I'm going to jump on this.
Yeah.
So.
Cool. Right. Jeff72 has a question. After a long day at work, it can be a bit of a chore to get your head around spending some time modelling. How do you get around that? Well, I have an answer to that. Not sure Nigel actually works, does he?
I gave up work.
There you go. That's how Nigel got around it.
I looked at the savings, I looked at what I've got, and I worked out that if I could start making a bit of a living out of YouTube and this, that, and the other, I can keep going. And it's worked exactly how I wanted it to work. It's absolutely brilliant. So this is now my job, if you like. But the trouble is, the biggest problem you have to remember, guys, is when you start off, and I'm sure Jason will tell you this, but it's only going to get worse, Jason. When you start off, you sit down, you do a bit of video and you edit it, you put it up, and you read your 3 or 4 comments that you get at the end of the day. Now, some mornings I can sit here and spend the first 2 hours of the day answering emails.
Yeah.
Answering comments and stuff. And then you sit down, you start doing a video. The other bit of advice I give to people as well, and I still do it now, is when you're actually filming, check you're actually bloody filming. The number of times I make videos, because I've got a little remote that sits over on my right, and I just press that, and it goes play. So I start talking. Welcome, guys. Blah, blah, blah. Here we are doing this. So what I'll do is I'll come back in a minute, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's painted. And then I watch the video back, and all I can hear is me at the airbrush. Because I've turned the camera on when I should have turned it off.
Yeah.
So make sure you're filming. I did it on the Sea King, didn't I? It's like half a video is all just crap with me in the background not talking.
So my answer to that question, Jeff, would be I have a setup. As you know, I can fold it all away, but I seldom do. And it's in my kitchen. So I can hop on and off whenever I like. So I don't have any setup or anything like that. I've not got to get stuff out. I can hop on and my desk's exactly where I left it. And I work from home 4 out of 5 days a week. I'm only in the office 1 day a week. So when lunchtime happens, I can just spin my chair around and carry on with my modelling if I want. And as soon as I finish work, I've not got to get in the car and drive for an hour. I can start modelling again. So I do bits and pieces and break it up like that. There are some days you just don't fancy it, so you just don't do it. Do something else, you know? Simple as that.
To put it into the likes of with the car world, I can remember years ago when I didn't have a garage, and you go out and you work on your car, and then it's getting dark, it starts to rain. You've got to finish up, you've got to put everything away, you've got to make sure the car's secure, no one's going to come and nick anything, make sure it's covered up, whatever. When you've got a garage, oh, if I go to the pub, put everything down, shut the door, go away. That's it. You don't have to put anything away, you can just leave it all out. And it's the same here. I mean, I've got this is my 4th bedroom, and I just sit here and just leave it all, it just stays out here all the time and never put anything away. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
and I can completely agree with you on making sure your video's running. The number of times I've done that. and my tip for editing is whenever something goes wrong, don't leave it in and think, oh, I'll edit that out later. Stop your video there. And then you know the end of your video is always something you've got to look at. So if I get a cough or the postman knocks or the washing machine that's got a timer comes on, you know. Yeah. So thank you, Jeff. That's a nice comment. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, mate.
I'm just looking to see if we've got any more questions. Should we?
I mean, I don't know. When I see people like you,
yeah,
you know, full-time job, you've got kids, a wife, you know, you've got family needs. You can't just sit on the bench all the time. I mean, I don't know how you do it, especially with something like bloody Shan Horse. How the hell are you going to build that?
Well, my motivation to build models is the fact that I've got kids and a job, and I need something completely different from it. I have set times, and everyone knows that, you know, it's got to be a sort of inform the Prime Minister size issue on a Sunday to interrupt me. No one comes near me on a Sunday morning because that's my modeling time, and I tend to get up 2 or 3 hours before everyone else. So I have set times. I have a modeling night in the week, which is tonight this week, and then I have a Sunday modeling time, and then I grab bits and pieces around. And I mean, you know yourself, you can do an hour's filming, and that'll turn into quarter of an hour's worth of video. But because I do kit reviews, one a week, and a tool or a product review, you can pretty much film them, and you don't have to do too much editing. So you can load them up really quickly, and you don't have to edit stuff out. So it's the builds that take the time. But yeah, there you go. So question from Captain Cuz. Should we stick with one sort of model or expand to other types of model? Interesting question.
It's up to you. I mean, you might be into NASCAR. I say that because I know Captain Cuz is in America. You know, if you're into, I mean, most American modelers on YouTube build cars, don't they?
Yeah.
And they don't tend to build anything else. You see this huge stash of model cars behind them, and they don't seem to build anything else. I don't know how they do it, because I could not sit here and just build Spitfires all day, every day. Pick up another Spitfire, build another. I have to diversify. But some people, you know, some people will build a model ship, then another model ship, then another model ship. Look at Ron. He doesn't do anything else but bloody shit. I don't know how he keeps going. But I couldn't do that myself. I have to diversify.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I agree with that. And in fact, as many of you know, I also build wooden kits as well. And that gives you a completely different tempo and experience to the plastic. And in many ways, it's more relaxing as a hobby. But so I think it depends on you, and it depends on your interest. You know, some people move around within the spectrum of Second World War because that's their interest. Other people like me, I build models because I like the look of the machine or whatever it is, not necessarily because I'm deeply interested in it. Quite often it's my research into that kit to be able to build it that educates me about what it is. I mean, this thing for that I'm building now, I had no idea of anything the back history of that. It's a Beaufort Mark 1, which I'm building now. Never heard of it before. Saw it came out last year on Airfix, and I thought, right, okay, that looks interesting shape. We'll do that. And then I've learned a bit about it through modeling it, which is what we did as kids, is how we learned about stuff. So
we've never heard of the Beaufort.
No, because my main interest is ships.
Okay.
So
Bristol Beaufort, Bristol Blenheim.
Yeah,
and Fighter.
I've got them all in my stash. Know nothing about them, but I'll know a bit more by the time I've finished them. But I like a lot of people. I know the Spitfire, the Lancaster, all that, but they're sort of the background aircraft like the Anson and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Don't know much about them. So I build things because I like the look of them, or there's something about. I mean, I like unusual and ugly. So the Gannet, it's such an unusual plane that it's attractive, and the same with the Gota. To be honest, you wouldn't say it was an attractive plane, but that makes it interesting.
It was Wingnut Wing's least popular kit.
Yeah, strange, isn't it? It's strange, isn't it? But I've loved every minute, and I'll tell you now, it's my equivalent of your Border Stuka. Not because it's the perfect build. I've got some issues with it, and or anything like that. It's just such an immersive experience. Really. You told me I'd love it, and I did. Right. Next question. What are we on? 10:10. Did you motivate any of your family or friends to start modelling or any other? My girlfriend is now building those model houses. Right. Okay. Interesting question.
No. Sorry, Han. That's all I can say is no. I don't. I haven't had a girlfriend since 2007. I don't want one. I don't have a boyfriend either. No, I don't. No.
I think your channel has probably inspired a lot of people to improve their modelling or try different things and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, but Han said family or friends. So
yeah, true.
I mean, I've got a lot of friends that contact me on my channel. I don't mean to insult anybody, but when I say family or friends, I mean I think of family, and the only family I've got is my mum. That's it. Friends, I don't have many friends. They're basically pub people and people I see at shows and stuff. So yeah, I haven't inspired anyone I know of, but I do know of a lot of people that have said they've. I do get some emails that sometimes bring a tear to my eye, and I have a lot of people that watch me who are terminally ill, and they're bedbound, and they have nothing in their life at all. They're just nothing, and they've picked up their phone, their iPad, whatever. Something's flashed up. They thought, "What's this about?" And they thought, "I used to build models when I was a kid."
Yeah.
And there is one particular guy I know of now who I haven't heard from for a while. So he builds models. He is absolutely bedbound, and he builds models in his bed on a tray on his lap. And you should see his work. It's absolutely awesome. He paints everything silver. Everything. Paints everything silver, and then paints it the proper color, and then chips the vanillics out of it. It's just, he's mainly into armor, World War II armor, German stuff. And sometimes I read these emails and it's like, Jesus, man, and they go as far as you've given me a new lease of life. I'm happy, and I haven't been happy for 6 months, and I can forget about my illnesses when I work on this and watch you. And it's just lovely.
Yeah, cool.
And then you get some other prick, you said red and it should be orange. Yeah, all right.
Well, I've got 2 daughters, and both of them have done some modelling. Alice got really into it for a while and was building aircraft, and then the Razor Quest from Revell, and that actually put her off. She stopped building about 2/3 the way through that, got fed up of it, and she's not picked it up since. So whether she'll come back to it or not, I don't know. She's at that age where she just wants to play Minecraft on the iPad. Whereas Daisy, she's ended up being really interested in painting resin busts, so mythical figures and that sort of stuff. So she likes painting. She comes to some of the model shows with me and stuff. She'll be at Telford with me this year, for example, and she sometimes does my techie support and stuff. So she has an interest. which is great. But she also does other things as well. She's quite creative, like I guess most of us are one way or another. Mm-hmm. So I have, but for how long, I don't know. Who knows? Mm. Right. Right. Here's a question. Is there any good app to help you manage your stash and plan manage your stash? Scalemates does that, doesn't it?
I don't know what they mean by manage your stash. I mean, what is there to manage? You buy it, you look at it, review it, and stick it in a cupboard.
Yeah. I mean, I have a spreadsheet, but only so that I can track what aftermarket I've bought, because I've cut myself out a couple of times buying aftermarket that I'd already bought.
I did Lancaster. I saw the Haynes Lancaster book on Amazon, and it was like $3.99 or something. Oh, I'll get that. My God, I'm looking through it. I thought, I've seen this. I've seen it. What's the book? And there it was.
Yeah, we've all done it, but I think Scalemates allows you to get a kit, mark it as being in your stash, and even say when you've turned it into a project and when it's completed. Right. I've never used it, but I think it's there.
I've done my own in Excel, like you have, Jason. And what I would advise you do is I've done a spreadsheet with all my aftermarket parts and everything, and then I've got another spreadsheet with all the kits, all in the same tab. But then what I do, I copy it, and then I have one which is done by number and one which is done by name. So one will start with 32001, and it might be a Zeppelin undercarriage set. And the next one will start with 32684, and it's an Airfix Anson. So if you're looking for Anson, it's at the top. If you're looking for a part number, you can, because that you can still, you think, I haven't got that. You go and order it, and then you realize you have got it because you didn't look in the right place.
Yeah. You have to come up with a system that works for you. So I have them. I have a different page for different types. So I have an aircraft page, a ship page, then they're in scale order from smallest to largest, and then underneath I list out all the stuff I've got for them: resin, decks, so on and so forth. So whatever works for you. So when you're in the mood for a bit of shopping, you can go to your spreadsheet and see where your gaps are. Right, we have answered this question, but I'll just put it up. So about modelers block and tend to lose interest through building one model after another. We have answered that question. So if you scroll up in the chat, you might see some of that.
Basically, the answer is, Lindsay, is yes.
Yeah. Right. Let's just see if there's any more questions. I don't see that we've got any more questions. So what are we on? We'll aim to finish for about 10:30. So there's 10 minutes left. If anyone's got any questions that they'd like to ask Nigel, we've got a captive audience. There must be.
I'd like to ask you a question.
Go on then.
I've asked you already, but I don't think you answered properly.
Oh, okay.
How are you physically on your kitchen table going to build a 1/200 Shan Horse? That's what I wonder.
Right. Okay. Let me show you the answer. All right. So it's not actually my kitchen table. It's a dedicated modeling desk.
Right.
Okay. And right now, my computer is on an extension table. So the extension table goes on the side of the desk. So I've got desk. The camera's back to front. It really throws me out. I've got a desk, and then I've got an extension table that's longer. So it will fit on the extension table, and it'll fit across the width of that. And I've got the Andy 3D building cradle.
Yes.
So it'll sit in that cradle. I can move it with the cradle, and then above my again, I'll show you above my shelving. You can see there is space there.
Right.
And it'll sit on there when it's not in action. You can see a finished go to there.
Yep.
So that's the plan. I recently moved my desk around at the back so that I've moved my microphone forward so that the bow can go between my microphone and my lampstands. So it'll squeeze on is my answer.
I've got a feeling you kind of build the hull and then it's all sub-assemblies, isn't it?
Yeah. But it depends on your style of building. I don't like building up on the superstructure and then trying to put the whole built-up superstructure on. Not a fan of that. So I tend to build my ships from the center up and out. So I'll put the superstructure down. I'll do all the deck fittings, then the superstructure. Then I'll put the funnel in, and then start building out from the funnel, so I don't have to reach over things as I'm building. So there will be sub-assemblies, and then they go on, but not quite in the way the instructions do. And like you, I resequence the instructions to suit my need. And I've got space at the back for the sub-assemblies. And actually, if I move my thing again, you'll see I've actually got all the parts in those blue boxes there.
Oh, right, yeah.
See those blue boxes? I've got the screws marked on the end so I can find them easily. I've got my deck and my extra decals and stuff on top. So the only thing that's not on my desk currently is the hull, which is just behind the desk.
So you're ready to go then?
I can't wait. The only thing I've done is put some white primer on the hull, because I like to be able to mark things up with a pencil, and that just helps me with a pencil. Right. So yeah, I'm ready to go. I just need to get Queen Mary 2 out of the way. But I think I'm 3, maybe 4 weeks away from doing that. So I will start the build before our launch date. And yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Perhaps we can have a private hangout one night and have a good old chat about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I want to share with you about altering the bow, and I want to talk to you about portholes and stuff, because I'm looking at Bismarck, and I found a problem with the AOTS books. You're looking at scuttle positions.
Yeah.
Look at the drawings, and they're in 200 scale, and you measure it, and then you look at another drawing in 200 scale, and they're completely different.
Yeah.
So it's like, what's wrong? I think I'm going to just do what looks right.
And that's what it comes down to.
On Shan Horse, those portholes are definitely too high up. They're definitely too close to the deck, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, I talked to Stephen Payne about it, and he said if the scuttles along the top were really that high, you wouldn't be able to see through them, because you've got all the framing for the deck, the steel framing for the deck.
Of course, yeah.
So it has to be below that. So it's clearly drawn wrong. So
I think they should be, the center of the porthole skull should be about 6.87 millimeters from the edge of the hull down.
Yeah.
And they're about 5 on the Shan Horse, and they're about 6 on the Bismarck.
Yeah.
And also Bismarck, I think the armor, the armor on the sides, is too high up. Yeah.
So currently the kit agrees with the book, and they're about 5. They're about at the center of the hull. They're about 5 milli down from the top deck, and I agree with you that they're the wrong height, which is why you were having issues when you were doing the anchor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've measured up the anchor and everything, the exact size, and it's like, yeah.
Right. Okay. So I'm just having a quick look, see if there's any questions that we've missed. Any planned builds ahead apart from the ship? I will add on to that you want to announce.
Yeah. I'm doing the A20 at the moment, Paul, which you haven't seen me start. I need to finish that tank and that tank transporter. I know I've got lots of kits in the background unfinished, but I decided that this year would open a new leaf and I would start and finish everything. I can't finish the Apache until I get some decals. Luke sent me some decals, but I think he's even waiting for new decals now. And I can't get the old ones off. Those Takum things are terrible. I've tried everything to get them off. I may even have to start another kit. I don't know. It's a nightmare, because it's got all raised details, see, so I can't just sand them off. But the plan is to finish everything I started this year. I finish everything I started this year. So I have to get that chieftain and that scamel done. Other than that, the other build I've got planned, the parts are in the post now, is that 1/6 scale Mustang. I contacted the company and they're sending me it free of charge. It's 748 millimeters long. 1/6 scale Mustang. The wheels are going to be this bloody big. So that's something, but nothing else that I want to talk about now.
Okay. On my side, it largely depends on my subscribers. So I have a first impressions video going out in a week or two of this new concept Amati kit. So it's a wooden yacht with a plastic hull. So you don't have to mess around forming a hull out of wooden strips. And a lot of people have been interested. We did a sort of a Matty box opening live, and a lot of people are interested to see it. It's also sort of like a beginner's build. So there's quite a few people who are interested in dipping their toe in wooden ships. So if there's enough interest in that, I'm gonna build that fairly soon. Probably park my fly build and do that. Outside of that, I've got some shelf queens I'd like to revisit maybe next year. And then I have a 135 diorama build that I've been planning for 3 years. And I got the last element of it last week, which you will have seen because I know you watched the tabletop videos on a Saturday. But it's inspired from a photograph of a Famo tank transporter, which is parked in a French street. And I'm actually going to build a German street with a tram and the Famo tank transporter, a Polish tankette on it, and then lots of civilians and civilian people and do that. I've always wanted to do a sort of a civilian street. So it's a major project, going to build it on a suspending shelf so I can just fit it to the wall. But when I'll start it, I don't know because I've got all these other big builds on. But yeah, it's in plan.
Something I've often thought of doing, I'd love to do, is a diorama that would drive everyone crazy. You could have a World War II Spitfire. Yeah.
I know where you're going with this now.
With like a Vauxhall Victor in 1/32 scale from Airfix, parked behind some railings.
Yeah.
It's at a big air day or something. And years ago, the car parks used to be in the bloody field, didn't they?
Yeah.
You could have people dressed in sort of 60s, 70s gear with a World War II. That would drive people around the bend.
I have seen similar things very occasionally at some model shows. I remember seeing, I think it must be a Tamiya dinosaur chasing some people away from a picnic and in a modern car and stuff. So yeah, there's people that mess around with those things. I have some friends in Leicester, and they do all sorts of stuff. With they build cars and put minions in them, driving them and stuff like that. Just have a bit of fun with it. So yeah, why not? I've always fancied doing a zombie apocalypse diorama as well.
Okay, I need to pop off a second. I just need to let Jess out. She's asking to go to the toilet, and with her problem, she won't be able to hold it very long.
Okay, you leg it then. Right. Okay. So what are we on? I'm just having a look and see what we've got. Have we got any questions we've missed? So thank you everyone for joining. It's great to see some of you. Jeff or James, if you're still on, could you give me an idea of where we are with viewers and thumbs up and stuff like that? Can see that one or two people are dropping off. We will wrap this up soon.
You didn't want to go out because it's raining, so I've
kicked him out.
No, I've done shut the kitchen door and I've opened the back door so she can choose to go in and out as she pleases.
Right.
What's your mini hobbies 1/3? I noticed a question in there. Your thoughts on the 1/32 scale F-35B. I assume you mean the trumpeter one. Yes, because you said trumpeter. It's probably got lots of inaccuracies on it, to be honest. Have a look at some finished builds, Jim, and see what you think. I mean, look particularly at the nose. Trumpeter jets are 32nd scale. I don't think they've done one with the correct shape nose yet, have they? Yeah, have a good look at it and see what you think.
Right. So, okay, cool. Well, you should see us start building in December, and hopefully well, I know Nigel's already done some bits, but hopefully we'll both be starting before that. So we'll have plenty of content by then. I think we're sort of, what are we on, 10:30? Some of us have got work tomorrow, so I think we're going to probably wrap up about now. It's been an absolute pleasure, Nigel, as always.
Thoroughly enjoyed it, mate. It's been absolutely great. It was really nice when I saw, I did a live, didn't I, last week? I got you on, and then we went over to you because you've got StreamYard and I haven't.
Yeah.
I had comments on my little video, and they commented, and they said that they really enjoyed it, and they loved the way we bounced off each other. A couple of people said that.
Right.
I don't know exactly what they meant. I am quite fat, so most people do bounce off me when they walk into me. But yeah, and it does feel, I've got to be honest, it feels very, very sort of even.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. It's not awkward. I'm not a great conversationalist in a social setting, and I find I can talk to you really easily. So yeah, it works well.
As I say, we'll have to have a private hangout one night.
Yeah.
Sort out what we're going to do with these Shan Horse kits, because
yeah.
Because I don't want to. There's two sides to this. I don't want to go on and build mine and then find out that you've corrected this, and this, and I wish I'd done it. And the other thing I don't want to do is go and say, obviously this is wrong and this is wrong and this is wrong, and then have you come along and say, oh shit, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
You know.
I think we need to have some build note sessions in the background.
Yeah.
Or of course we could do it live, and then people can pitch in as well. I don't know. We'll have a talk. We'll work something out.
Funnily enough, I've had a few people, about 3, in the last 6 months, ask me if I'm ever going to build that Shan Horse because they really want to see one built, and I've said no. I'm not going to be building it. So,
right.
Here's Wendy saying a great Q&A tonight. Thank you, Mr. No, Wendy.
Thank you, Wendy. That's brilliant. Thank you very much. Right. So the last thing I'd like to say to all of you watching is a big thank you for supporting both of us tonight and what have you. If you are a creator and you would like to do a Meet the Creator video, don't usually do them live, then drop me an email, modelkitstuff@gmail.com. And we can work that out. So whether you're a small channel or a large channel, I've done channels of all sizes. I'm happy to do that, and you might get a few subscribers out of that process. But I'm always especially interested in helping out the new channels, just like Nigel did for me 3 years ago. I passed that on. So would love to have some more Meet the Creator videos. So thanks very much. It won't be the last time you see Nigel and I on a live stream together. We've got a couple of years of building the Shan Horse together. So yeah, it will be fun. Okay.
Yeah. Great. Thank you very much, guys. Thanks for all your wonderful questions. They were really good. And thank you as well for keeping it sensible. I thought it might get silly, but it was brilliant.
Yeah. And thank you to my moderators. As always, an amazing job. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Okay. Cheers, guys.
Night all.